Now, you are dead wrong about correct posture, because if you suffer with any of these faults, whether it's early extension, you hit the ball worse when you try to squat, you thin the ball, you shank the ball, that is all because you are trying to do the correct athletic posture. And we're going to discuss exactly why that correct athletic posture is destroying your game, but also how lazy posture, old man posture you could call it, is going to be the thing that is going to fix every single one of those points we just talked about. So let's start off with exactly why correct posture or athletic posture is so bad for your golf swing. Then we'll get into exactly why lazy posture is good and a good little procedure to do with a good drill to do to get you setting up correct every time for moving better. And this is really going to fix so many things in your golf swing. This is such a big root cause area of golfers' problems. Why is athletic posture bad? So what is it to start off with? It's where you'll set up in a really hip hinged position. You'll have a ton of knee flex. You'll have a slightly extended and curved lower spine, pelvis stuck behind you, quite a straight upper and mid back there. Usually quite a low hand position as well. So this is going to cause a bunch of things to happen. And the main reason why this will cause so many things to happen is because now my armpits are over or in front of my toes. Okay, so when my armpits are over in front of my toes from this real hip hinged bad posture, classic correct athletic posture, what that's going to cause as I turn back in the backswing, that's going to cause the mass of my upper body, so the weight of my upper body, to be displaced in front of my lower body. So that's going to cause some big balance issues. So number one, which we see, is we'll see when people turn, their weight starts to go into their toes. So when your weight goes into your toes, you can't rotate and load up correctly in the backswing. But even simpler than that, when you try to turn now in the downswing with the weight into your toes, let's say you keep it there, that club is going to fly on the outside of the ball line, and then you're going to expose the hosel and you're going to meet the golf ball with the hosel first. So it encourages you to turn into your toes. So we would quite often see players stand up in the downswing to be able to get their weight back again, and that's with the pelvis sliding up, upper body back, and that's going to get the club more on path again, kind of like a little shot like this. But then they're going to suffer with big thin shots. Again, if they get it slightly wrong, they can shank it. But because when we're on those toes and then have to stand back up again to regain our balance and prevent the club from getting too much out in front, that's going to raise the hands up. You could also hit the ball way right doing this, and that's going to make the radius of the swing raise upwards. This is so common for players who are like, why can I not stop early extending? It's because your posture sucks. You're in that posture. We're saying that the posture sucks. I don't blame you, because this is what we've been taught for so long. 90s and early 2000s golf instruction was this. And why did they teach this posture? Sadly, because it looked good. That was the only reason why. As a coach in the coaching world, that is the honest only reason why this was taught. It's scary, right, that's why coaches taught this, because it looked good. It looked like other sports. You know, like a football or soccer for you guys in the US, like a goalkeeper waiting for a penalty. That's exactly what it was. Scary, right? But it caused all that cascading effect. Weight to go onto the toes because the mass of the upper body's in front of me. And then for most players are backing up to regain their balance, get the club moving back through the golf ball properly. God, disastrous. I just have no idea why this was taught so much. I mean, for me to hit good contact, I had to stand up on it. Absolutely terrible. And that's why when you see players like Jason Day, Michelle Wee, for example, is a really good example of this. Michelle Wee had to retire from back pain because one other thing that this really causes you to do is really makes it hard to rotate and get some good loading into that trail side, because we said that mass of the upper body is over the toes. That makes it really hard to turn. So you see a lot of players with this really braced, flexed right knee with no hip turn, because that's what they said to do alongside this. No rotation in the backswing, like Michelle Wee. So with Michelle Wee, she turned with no turn on the way back and then had to somehow still stay in posture, but that created tons of trail side bend, tons of torque and tension in that lower spine, retired really early. Jason Day had to change his golf swing because of this, because he almost retired early. Same thing. Hardly any flex in that right knee. So this is Jason Day back in the early 2010s. He took a good number of years off to change this. And then again, lots of separation. So those best players in the world can make this work because they're super talented. You know, they're absolute freaks when it comes to golf. But then that torque and tension, that lower spine, that big tilt back that they'll have to keep the club on path. horrendous. I can feel it in my back just doing that. So this is why we want to avoid this. It's because we don't want to have all that number of stuff. I mean, you just can't move. I just can't swing the golf club doing that. It feels like everything flies out to right, real flippy to make it work. Those last two shots, I was trying to hit the ball well doing it. It's no good. So especially for golfers who aren't as athletic as Jason Day or Michelle Wee, we know how it ended for them. It's not going to end well for good golfers or amateur golfers out there. So every single level of golfer needs to set up like we could talk about right now. And that is setting up in lazy posture or old man posture. Let's look here. This is Sam Snead. Look at how Sam Snead is setting up to the golf ball. Pelvis tucked underneath, fairly straight legs, not much flex in them, quite a rounded and relaxed upper back. But then we see like players like Jack Nicklaus, all guys from that era set up like this. And this is where it's going now for more modern golf instruction. Why? Because it's safer and gets you moving better. And for most of you guys out there, I'd say not most, all of you guys out there watching this, you need to set up like this to have more enjoyable time playing golf and good longevity as well. So again, why is that so good in this old man or lazy posture like the greats back in the day, who hit the ball with incredible distance for the clubs and balls they were using? So remember that. A lot of that is because of their setup. So when we have that pelvis tucked underneath, slight bend in the knees, just very slight brace, straight lower back, gradually rounding up to the mid and upper back. That gets the armpits over the balls of the feet. So when the armpits are over the balls of the feet, what does that mean? The mass of the upper body is now over managed by the middle of my lower body in the feet. So that means as I start to turn now, the weight can now go and travel into the inside of my trail heel as I turn, which that means I'm going to keep posture really nicely, and it's going to make it so I can coil up and get this right pocket, right trouser pocket, gradually pulled back to give me good hip depth to make me able to turn nicely in the downswing. So again, let's look at Sam Snead at impact. How rotated is that? That is ridiculous for guys back in that day. You know, sometimes they were wearing almost like waistcoats and blazers when they were playing. Maybe a bit before Sam Snead's era, but it wasn't that long ago from that era that they were swinging in like jackets. But they all got themselves into this crazy rotated position. Here's Byron Nelson. Byron Nelson, one of the greats in PGA Tour history. How rotated did he get? Again, a lot of golfers think this, what we're seeing here, is modern golf instruction. This is not at all. Modern golf instruction is what these guys did back in the day, because they created such great club head speed, had such great movement of the body, and for those golf balls they hit were incredibly accurate. That's why it's going back to that, and it's safer on the body. And a lot of that is because of their posture. They can then, with that armpits over the toes, that lazy old man posture, turn back. The weight's going to go into the trail heel, inside of that right heel nicely, and then they're able to keep their posture coming back in the downswing really nicely. So they can push that lead hip back. It all happens nice, athletic and instinctively. And you're going to see some much better movements naturally happen. It just feels freer. You don't feel so constrained, so robotic. So again, because those guys back in those days, they didn't have the wealth of instructional information as we have now. It was all very instinctual, all very much by feels. That's why Sam Snead, of course, was a little bit before Hogan, or a little bit at the same time as well. But before he started really talking about the golf swing, it was one of the first bits of knowledge on the golf swing, other than, of course, great instructor Harvey Pennick, all those guys from back in those days. But again, that info wasn't out there. Their setup was a big reason why they could move so well, and it's so much safer, because if you're turning, that upper body is more on that lower body, because how you set up, you can turn into some nice amount of hip turn. And what do those guys all do? Lift up that left heel, which again is very safe. Don't have to do that, but again, I would encourage it. And they can move down nicely with less stress on the back. But it looks like it's more damaging, doesn't it? But it's not. It's because of how that rotation is working better for them. So let's get into a good setup routine for this and a drill to do. That's really going to help you get in this lazy old man, but I call the greats posture. Okay, here is the setup routine. You can do this on every single ball, applies to every single club, apart from putting. So here we go. What I want you to do, get a golf club in your hands, stand to a golf ball, but stand with almost straight legs, so not completely straight, slight bend to them. Now, have your upper back dead upright like you're talking to someone in front of you. Now grab your club, put it around mid-torso, and then what I want you to do from there is relax your mid and upper back until the club hits the ground. So we're not doing it via any excessive hip hinge and knee bend. We're just doing it via relaxing mid and upper back, so that thoracic area of your spine. Club then hits the ground. Now, that will get you in very good, lazy or old man posture. The greats posture, like we said. But if you feel too close from here, like I certainly do, that's because you've got long arms. So take a little shuffle back if you feel too close, just until you feel comfortable. And there, now I feel nice and comfortable. That's great. So again, little bend of the knees, very slight. Club out in front of you, straight like I'm talking to someone in front of me. Relax mid and upper back until club hits the ground. Boom. Funny shuffle, then go for it. And then move nice and dynamically and athletically. Oh. Very good. So that's our setup procedure. You can do that on every shot until you do it naturally. Here's a good little drill to do. Now, this is a very, very simple drill. I give this to so many of my students online here on Skillis, and it works wonders every time. Like I said, it's super, super simple. Just grab an alignment stick, put it on the ground. So we've got our setup procedure, which is good. That's going to get us set up nicely, but this is just going to encourage the weight in the feet to be moving where we want it to. So if we get this going through the middle of our feet with this stick here, we can now really clearly feel when the weight goes onto the toes or the weight goes onto the heels. So if I set up to my golf ball, here we go, okay. Now, as I start to turn back, we're going to feel initially the weight is in the balls of our feet. Pretty 50-50 here at the moment. And then as I start to go back, the weight is going to gradually travel onto the inside of my right heel. So if I spin this around, spin it around better than that, it got caught somehow on the mat. So again, that weight is going onto the inside of my trail heel, so my right heel. I see so many golfers going like this in the backswing of their foot. That's absolute killer of your swing. So that's where we want it to be. And you're going to feel then, if I turn this back around again, you're going to feel like everything with that pressure on the inside of the right heel is on the back side of this stick. And then we want to stay on this side. We want to live on this side in a downswing. And then as we start moving down, you'll feel the pressure going onto more the outside portion of that left heel. So we're not going forward. We are staying back. We're staying nice on that balls, the feet are set up. Back and then through. And here's the thing, guys, this is a practice swing drill. You don't do this with a golf ball because it's too unstable to stand on this hitting a normal speed shot. So getting up top, okay, old man lazy posture, turning, there we go, and then through, getting it onto that side of the stick. Good. And I wouldn't even mind to see some players extreme this so much to where their toes start to come up a little bit. Again, that's more extreme than we would want it, but again, that's just to encourage the good dynamic posture to happen from good posture. Keep that weight back there. So once we've done that, brilliant. Do a bunch of reps from there. I would recommend for every 3 balls you hit, do 5 of those in between every set of 3 balls. That's going to really get you the good feeling there. So now, okay. There we go, lazy old man posture, we call the posture of the greats. Be playing good golf if you do this. Now feel that exact same sensation as you had with that stick and the pressures of your feet. Lovely. If you can do that, one, I'll have a lot less people that I need to teach because you're going to be moving so much better. To be honest, if most golfers did that, I think golf coaches would predominantly be out of business, quite a lot of them. That's because this creates so many faults in your golf swing. It is one of the main big root causes of what we see with so many bad strikes, but again, just general bad dynamic body movement like early extension. It is, in my opinion, the #1 cause of early extension is bad posture. So, if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you've got more golf instruction, just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell button to be notified every time I put out a video.